So whenever you're ready, Jay.
All right. Well, we'll call this meeting to order. We have everyone here, all 5 council members, and we've got the 3 usual suspects from the city here, as well as our attorney, Chris Hood. So that's our list of attendees. Moving on to the open forum. Does anyone have anything to be read for the open forum? No? All right, I have not received anything either, so we'll close the open forum and move to the consent agenda, which has the 3 typical items on it: this meeting's agenda, the previous meeting minutes, and the payment of bills for this term. Unless someone would like to pull something for discussion, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Okay, so there's a movement. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, movement and a second. Any further discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing none, we'll go to a roll call vote. I'll just go down my list. From the top, Councillor Moody, your vote?
Aye.
Councillor Swearingen, your vote?
Aye.
Councillor Schulte, your vote?
Aye.
Councillor Kennedy, your vote?
Aye.
And I am an aye as well. The motion passes. Consent agenda passes. So on our agenda, there are really 2 items there. The first item is recodification of city ordinances. You received an email a few hours ago of the draft manuscript of the Grand Marais Code of Ordinances that we have received from from the legal branch of the League of Minnesota Cities, which is called American Legal Publishing Company or Corporation, or maybe they're the ones that the League of Minnesota Cities,
I think they partner with them.
Recommended, yeah, because they're based in Cincinnati. So this one's on the agenda to mainly bring us up to speed about where the process for this recodification is at. The draft manuscript that we've gotten from American Legal Publishing Corporation is a printed version of what we're going to get in electronic form, or maybe we've already gotten that in electronic form. Patrick, did you get it like in the electronic form yet, or is that still coming?
We got it printed and electronically.
Okay. So the electronic one, is that the one that's like searchable and all that, all the functionality that we sought to get from it?
Not at this point, but it will be.
Okay, gotcha. So this is basically just the language, and then the final product is yet to come.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So then what we need to do is we need to be aware that there's going to be upcoming that final draft. And this draft is provided so that we can start looking into the work that was done, start understanding the code itself, so that when we get to the point of starting to work through that final draft that's provided, and also, mainly just to be aware of what's in the code right now. So that when we get to that point of discussing it more, we know where we're at. This is a huge document. It's got 356 pages in it. So almost a page a day if you wanted to take it in a year. I don't expect any of the council members to have poured over this in the last 2 hours to be prepared, but this is going to be a future conversation that we're going to be having, and it's one that I would appreciate the council putting a little bit of energy into, at least understanding how the code is written, how it works, so that when we have the discussions about it, we can have productive discussions. Mike, do you have anything else to add to that?
I can say that staff has started digging through, particularly Kim right now, but we all intend to dig through in pretty high level of detail what the document is that they've provided. In Patrick's memo, he says they don't recommend that we do that with you until after the legal review has been given out. I think that makes sense unless you just want to get a head start on it. If so, you should know that one of the first things we found was that there was a chunk of years in the late 90s where there were ordinances that weren't yet included in this draft. And so I'd call it an 80% draft right now. So there's a little more work that needs to get done before it's complete. And then I look forward to their legal review of it as well. The types of issues that we expect to find and put forth for you are parts of the ordinances that are no longer relevant but still included in the code, and then parts of the ordinances that we've got some questions about whether they're relevant and we need to do some more research, and then parts where we're going to have some of our other staff people look at and decide whether that still works for them or not, like the utilities looking at the water and sewer sections and such. So we'll probably be preparing a pretty extensive report to you on our own at staff level that talks about more changes that we're going to recommend that you make to it. And so just keep in mind that some of those might come up in the legal review that American Legal is doing for us, but they're not going to know all the things that we know, for instance, about whether the county is our police force, and if we shouldn't be referring to the police chief in the code, for instance, and issues like that. So it's going to take some time for us to go through that, and it will be good for all of you, I think, to also go through when the legal review is done and when the code is at kind of 100%. I'd say, try to dig through the whole thing, and we don't expect you all to be experts on all of it or really necessarily any of it, but it's just nice to have another pair of eyes to look for things that don't make sense and get more questions on the table. What this is not going to do for us is talk about policy questions. So, should we still say that or not? And I'm not going to come up with any good examples for you on the fly, but we're not talking about changing significant policies as a part of this process.